Wandering up and down the street of Soweto, no place to call my home.
Mo kí bàbá mi John Ogundele.
I try to find you.
Mo kí gbogbo alẹ́ nǹkan ṣe ibi tá a ti ń bẹ̀rẹ̀ ètò lórí ti koikimedia ká tó wọnú agbami Starr Radio. Mo kí gbogbo àwọn ìṣọ́ olúwa tí wọ́n ń ṣọ́lẹ̀ Yorùbá. Kò ń ṣàwọn gómìnà. Mo kí gbogbo tó ń pè nílẹ̀ Yorùbá. Mo kí bàbá mi John Ogundele. Mo kí gbogbo ẹ̀yin àlùfáà Ramadan Kere. Ìran Yorùbá ń pariwo pé a fẹ́ gbòmìnira. Àwọn politicians sọ pé rọ́ àní lọ láìpẹ́ yìí. Wọ́n ní ká ṣiṣẹ́ Yorùbá díẹ̀, ká ṣe Nàìjíríà díẹ̀ rádà. Bí pàkúté ló lomi bí àwa la nílẹ̀ Yorùbá ni báwọn Yorùbá politician ni ó kù díẹ̀ níṣẹ́ tó bá yá gbogbo èèyàn máa jáde ojú ibi títì á block everywhere kò ní sí anything tó máa move ìyẹn la máa fi sọ pé ìyà tó ń jẹ wá ìyà yẹn ò tí tó tí àyẹn bá kàn yín lára ẹ jáde sójú títì. Èmi kọ́ mo lórin àmọ́ Lucky Dube ni tó bá ti yọ kúrò dẹ́ẹ̀ bá ti gbọ́ nínú ètò yìí mọ́ á jẹ́ pé ẹ̀ gbádùn ẹ̀ ní life. Àwọn DSS sọ pé interim government fẹ́ wọlé, wọ́n sọ fún yín àmọ́ ẹ kì í gba koikimedia gbọ́. Wọ́n ti sọ láti bí oṣù mélòó kan sẹ́yìn pèsè àní gbogbo ẹ fẹ́ dàrú. Àwọn wo ló ń plan interim government kó tó di pé DSS sọ pé interim government is about to come up. Mo kí gbogbo alẹ́ nǹkan sí mo ní a very good morning and welcome to Koiki Media Live. Tí péjì mi ò bá tẹ́ lọ́rùn jọ torí Ọlọ́run lọ sórí NTA News. Koiki Media page is not just for everybody. Àwọn onílàákàyè ni wọ́n máa béèrè pé n tí bọ̀bọ̀ yìí ń post ó ní meaning. Mo ń béèrè pé is he dead? Àwọn kan bí mi pé kí n shut up. Is he dead? Níbo ló wà gangan? Lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí mo kí gbogbo ẹ̀yin mùsùlùmí. Mo kí gbogbo àwọn tí wọ́n ń ṣe àdúrà lójoojúmọ́ pé sẹ́ ìran Yorùbá máa bọ́ nínú oko ẹrú. Bí ikú ló lóko, bí pàkúté ló nípàdé di orí dídán. Ṣẹ́gun bàbá mi jọ. Yorùbá mi ti ń da díẹ̀díẹ̀, mo kí gbogbo ẹ̀yin tí wọlé lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí. Ìran Yorùbá máa bọ́ nínú oko ẹrú yìí sẹ́ by fire by force. Àwọn kì í ṣàwọn Afẹ́nifẹ́re tí wọ́n ń lọ báyìí tó ń lọ bá. Ẹ wo àwọn bàbá méjèèjì wọ́n ń táwọn síra wọn lórí mídíà. Bàbá Fáṣọ̀rántì sọ pé òun ti endorse Tinubu. Bàbá mi pa Ayọ̀ Adébánjọ sọ pé no Fáṣọ̀rántì dákẹ́ òun tó ń sọ Tinubu kọ́ Tinubu ni. Àwọn Afẹ́nifẹ́re náà nìyẹn. Ṣé bá ṣe máa bá lọ náà lélẹ́yìí tí àwọn tó jẹ́ lídà ilẹ̀ Yorùbá tí a mọbi tó ń lọ èwo la máa tẹ̀lé náà àwọn méjèèjì. Nítorí pé bàbá wa Ayọ̀ Adébánjọ sọ pé bàbá Fáṣọ̀rántì ò mọ tó ń sọ àwọn Afẹ́nifẹ́re nìyẹn o. Ìyẹn lèmi ṣe máa ń sọ pé àwa generation ti sìn àkì í ṣe Afẹ́nifẹ́re. Àwa ń sọ pé òmìnira Yorùbá ní no restructuring no Tinubu kò sí kankan tó jọ bẹ́ẹ̀. Tó bá wá jẹ́ pé wọ́n tó ń tẹ̀lé Tinubu má jókòó sórí platform o torí wà ní àtàtà. Ojoojúmọ́ ni kidnapper ń jíyàn gbé. Terrorists reportedly kidnapped 56 people lọ́tún ti jí gbé ní Niger State. Ṣé bá ṣe máa bá lọ lélẹ̀? Wọ́n ń béèrè 200 million. Ṣé bá ṣe máa bá lọ lélẹ̀? Ẹ já sọ̀títọ́ fúnra wa. Nigeria is not for us. If you are a Tinubu fan, please get away from this platform because Omani Tata. You have a Tata because I don't care whoever Tinubu is. As far as we are concerned, Tinubu is a criminal. Nítorí pé owó cocaine. Do you know what cocaine is? Wọ́n ní owó kan wọnú àkáǹtì Tinubu nígbà tó wà l'Amẹ́ríkà. Is a cocaine money. And anything that does to do with drug is not something that we must endorse. So Tinubu is a criminal. He's not representing Yoruba people. Tinubu is a criminal. He's a drug baron. Cocaine money wọnú àkáǹtì. Wọ́n ṣe pé wọ́n ṣe fún ní cash. Do you know what it means for cocaine money to go through your account? That means he's part of the drug dealer. He's a cocaine pusher. So ẹ má máa jẹ́ ká fi tèmi náà bá jẹ́ pé drug dealer lèmi tó bá ní evidence gbé jáde. Tó bá jẹ́ pé criminal lèmi náà gbé jáde. Wọ́n ní mix sellers boys ò jáde. Ẹ má bínú lẹ̀ tètè sọ̀rọ̀ látẹ̀kàn. Irọ́ ló pa o. Ẹ tó sọ bẹ́ẹ̀. Take the mix close to your voice is low. Mo ti increase the voice yẹn. Check it padà kó jẹ́ kí n mọ̀. The voice is now very high. Ẹ̀yin tẹ́ wà lórí mix seller ṣé ń gbọ́ mi dáadáa? Tẹ́ bá ń gbọ́ mi ẹ jẹ́ ká mọ̀. Voice yẹn should be very very high because I can see the bar moving very fast. Tinubu is a criminal. Drug baron ni. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni ìyá mi Yétúndé èmi ni last man standing gbogbo yín. Ẹ má worry. Ẹ̀yin ẹ fèmí sílẹ̀ pẹ̀lú wọn. Màá sọ tó ń pè ní mídíà fún wọn. Wọ́n mọ tó ń pè mídíà ni. Èmi á sọ tó ń pè mídíà fún wọn. A very good morning and welcome as we are getting ready for Starr Radio. Ẹ ti mọ bó ṣe máa ń lọ láràárọ̀. A máa wọnú Starr Radio. Mo sọ fún yín pé wọ́n fẹ́ ṣe interim government tó fẹ́ gbé fún Ọ̀ṣínbàjò wá sí London ó náà wá ṣe event kan irọ́ ló ń pa Ọ̀ṣínbàjò wá ṣe nǹkan kan ní King's Cross wọ́n kàn fi yẹn ṣe bójúbójú ta ni Ọ̀ṣínbàjò wá bá ní London kí ni wọ́n ń kúkú lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́ àwọn wo ló fẹ́ ṣe interim government. Why is DSS now coming out to say interim government is cooked already in Nigeria? Mo kí gbogbo alẹ́ nǹkan sí pé ẹ káàbọ̀ lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí ọmọ máa ń fẹ́ gbọ́ Lucky Dube bọ̀ wọ́n lè yọ kúrò nínú broadcast kò mátà wọ́n jẹ́ ká sì gbọ́ díẹ̀ sí. Just the way just the way it is. Just the way it is làwọn máa ń sọ. Kí ni kàn mí pẹ̀lú pé Tinubu jẹ́ ọmọ Yorùbá? A ní drug dealer lèèyàn ń sọ pé ọmọ Yorùbá ni. Kí ni kàn mí pẹ̀lú yẹn? Orí ọ̀pẹ. A ní cocaine pusher nìyàn. Ìwọ ń sọ pé ká máa protect ẹ̀. Tèmi náà bá jẹ́ cocaine pusher, ó jẹ́ tètè yájú jáde. Tinubu is a drug dealer. Drug dealer ni. Evidence dẹ̀ wà l'Amẹ́ríkà. Evidence is there. Òun náà deny ẹ̀. Tinubu náà deny pé òun ṣe drug dealer. Ó lè máa parọ́ fẹ̀yìn. Àwọn media aid lè máa parọ́. But àwa mọ̀ pé Tinubu is a drug dealer. Ó ń practice drug. Owó cocaine. Do you know what is called cocaine? Jẹ́ fi wọ̀nyí tó bá mọ̀ tán pè ní cocaine. Tó bá ní cocaine. Ó mọ̀ tán pè ní cocaine. Drug burúkú ni. Bó ṣe rí lélẹ̀ white substance. Tinubu owó white substance lọ sínú àkáǹtẹ̀ ọmọ àlè oníkì ṣọ́tọ̀ ọ̀dẹ̀ orí ọ̀pẹ. Ó mọ̀ tán pè ní cocaine. Ní tán pè ní cocaine lélẹ̀ is not something that ó jẹ́ kó wà nínú community kankan. But Tinubu wá ń gba owó ẹ̀ jáde wọ́n san sínú àkáǹtì l'Amẹ́ríkà ó wá ní ká ṣọ́tọ̀ orí òpè rárá ẹni ẹ ló wá fi jẹ president tiwọn ó wá ní ẹ torí ọmọ Yorùbá ní ká má máa sọ̀rọ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ orí òpè rárá. Ẹ rántí pé cocaine kan náà wọ́n bá ní Kòròdú àmọ́ bó ṣe ń lọ mọ́ nísìn níbo ni wọn àwọn tó wà involve cocaine business wọ́n bá ní Kòròdú yẹn wọ́n ti paná gbogbo ẹ rántí pé this was what Delegiwa was was also investigating. Ẹ rántí kéèsì Delegiwa tí Babangida blow ẹ pẹ̀lú letter bomb. Ẹ ti gbàgbé ẹ ní rántí yẹn mọ́. Ẹ rántí ẹ ti gbàgbé ẹ ní rán yín létí. So the question now is owó cocaine tí Tinubu ń lò yìí tó wọnú àkáǹtì ẹ̀ ṣé òun náà lọ sí ìfín look at what the UK government is saying. Tó bá bá cocaine lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀ nílùú yìí ẹ̀wọ̀n ni. The Advisory Council on the Misuse of Drug has today, on the 12th of March, which is this month, published a major report on the powder cocaine and its impact on the British society. The Advisory Council on the Misuse of the Drugs as at today, the 12th of March, published a major report on the powder cocaine and its impact on the British society. The report that draws from varieties of sources of information and research found cocaine use has spread throughout the society since the 90s. Nígbà tí Tinubu náà tó ń lo owó cocaine tó fi operate ní Amẹ́ríkà. Olóhùn ṣe accountant. Wọ́n wá ń fi owó yẹn wọ́n ń gba sínú àkáǹtì tiẹ̀. Òun bá wọn tọ́jú ẹ̀ as an accountant. And today, some people say we should shut up. No, Koiki, don't talk like that now. Tinubu is our own. Ẹ má máa sọ̀rọ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀, ẹ jẹ́ ká protect ẹ̀, ká protect the criminal. Ká protect the criminal. Nítorí ojú ọmọ Yorùbá, mad people all over the place. Ẹ fẹ́ jẹ́ ká protect the criminal Tinubu drug baron. Àbó ọmọ tó ń pè ní cocaine ni. Cocaine ó ti ba ayé àwọn èèyàn jẹ́ láti in the 90s. But the consumption has been downgraded since the trend in 2009. This use has coincided with the emergence of a market in cheap, low purity. Powder cocaine, which operates in parallel with a smaller trade, is more expensive, far higher purity version of the drug. While representing only a small proportion of society, users come from across the social and economic spectrum. But the report found new consumer shows signs of dependency. Cocaine powder, review of the evidence of the prevalence and patterns of use, harms and implication is the result of a review initiated by the ACMD due to concerns over increased consumption and perception that the drug is safe. The review did not consider the classification of cocaine. The ACMD considered that the potential harms of cocaine are significantly and clearly delineated òyìnbó yìí ti pọ̀ jọjá lọ́wọ́ mínínẹ̀ àwọn ọmọ reason tó ti máa ń lo àwọn òyìnbó yìí kí ni mínínẹ̀. Delineate again tó bá sọ pé tóyìnbó bá sọ pé delineate into mean ni pé the law should be delineate and prohibit behaviour which is socially abhorrent, describe or portray something precisely, indicate the exact position, and ẹ fẹ́ jẹ́ ká wá protect Tinubu a drug baron. ṣé yóò mọ̀ pé owó cocaine ní Tinubu lò nígbà tó wà l'Amẹ́ríkà tó náà ń ṣàkántant ìtàn pè ní cocaine lélẹ̀ ọ̀dẹ̀ omugọ̀ ìtàn pè ní cocaine ní cocaine ó máa ń báyé jẹ́ ni bó ṣe ń lò ní Nàìjíríà wọ́n ń lò ní everywhere lọ tí ń lò ìtàwọn kan fi ń ṣe business nìyẹn but ó ń báyé àwọn èèyàn jẹ́ ìyẹn lùwọ́ wá ní ká dákẹ́. King Europe cocaine habit. Which countries in the EU are the worst hit by the addiction? Àwọn ìlú wo? Belgium. Ìyẹn làwọn kan ṣe máa ń lọ sáwọn ìlú yẹn. Netherlands, Spain have historically been the primary gateway for cocaine arriving in the Western Europe from Andean countries. But traditionally, cocaine traffic routes are changing because àwọn náà ti ń gbọ́ oríṣiríṣi ní ọ̀nà tó máa ń lò láti fẹ́ fi gbé cocaine ojoojúmọ́ láàrin. So Tinubu is not fighting for the Yoruba tribe. He is a criminal because evidence yẹn wà l'Amẹ́ríkà wọ́n lè máa protect ẹ̀ lọ́dọ̀ tí ní Nàìjíríà òṣì burúkú yẹn but àwọn ò ní protect ẹ̀ because he is a criminal. tó mo sọ fún ẹ má jókòó sórí platform yìí wo tó bá jẹ́ pé Tinubu fans nìyẹn torí pé criminal ni he is a criminal. ẹni bá jẹ́ criminal ẹ jẹ́ apariwo ẹ̀ síta. Cocaine pusher tó fẹ́ lọ di president yìí ṣé wọ́n mọ̀ pé ó máa fàyè lẹ̀ fún àwọn ọmọ drug baron bí àwọn Gilbert Chagori àbí gbogbo àni máa ń mistake orúkọ yẹn àwọn Gilbert Chagori ojoojúmọ́ ni màmá gbójú àwọn ilé wa síta fún yín. àwọn criminal tó ń dúró de Tinubu lélẹ́yìí àwọn ni wọ́n gba Tinubu sí Paris lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́ tó ń fún nítọ́jú. wọ́n ní Tinubu wà ní Paris àwọn kan ló wà ní London àwọn kan ló wà ní Saudi Arabia àmọ́bi tó wà. Everybody ló ń bèrè níbo ni Tinubu wà but àwọn tí Tinubu fẹ́ gbé wọlé lélẹ́yìí ìwọ ọ̀dẹ̀ ìwọ tó jẹ́ àkọ́kọ́ mọ́ ọmọ Yorùbá òun sọ pé ká sọ́tọ̀ but àwọn Gilbert Chagori àwọn ni wọ́n ń kọ́ Èkó Atlantic Project wọ́n mọ Bill Clinton gbogbo olówó àgbáyé lọ́mọ̀ but criminal ni wọ́n àwọn náà ní Èkó hotel tó bá mọ àbí tó bá tẹ̀ dákọ̀kọ̀ mọ̀ wàṣà ti máa gbọ́ Èkó hotel àwọn ni wọ́n ń kọ́ Èkó Atlantic Project tó máa fi owó Nàìjíríà tó máa fi parí project yẹn but ìwọ máa lé Yorùbá tó ń bú mi bàbá ẹ̀ ò lè gbé nínú Èkó Atlantic mọ́mí ẹ̀ ò lè gbé níbẹ̀ ìwọ fúnra rẹ̀ ò lè gbé níbẹ̀ because property yẹn wọ́n náà ń ta ní $1 million níbo ló ti fẹ́ rí àbí tí wọ́n náà bá ti ń ṣe cocaine àbí tí wọ́n náà bá ti ń ta cocaine tẹ́ ń ṣe drug dealer mo ní ẹ máa jẹra yín lẹ́sẹ̀ ni ẹ máa para yín ni àwọn ò lè fẹ́ ká para wa ká tètè pariwo gbogbo wọn síta because criminal ní Tinubu owó drug cocaine wọ́n náà lọ sí àkáǹtẹ̀ nígbà tó wà l'Amẹ́ríkà cocaine wá jẹ́ gẹ́gẹ́ bí nǹkan tá a máa bò mọ́lẹ̀ cocaine àti Tinubu ọmọ ìyá ni wọ́n so kò lè parọ́ ẹ̀ evidence wà àwọn mídíà náà jáde ẹgbọ́n kan tẹ́lẹ̀ sọ Báyọ̀ Ọ̀nànúgà another criminal ó jókòó sórí Twitter a máa pariwo oríṣiríṣi ó ní Tinubu drug business was over 10 years ago he can be president now Báyọ̀ Ọ̀nànúgà ọmọ àlè àwọn ilé náà ni àwọn ọmọ Yorùbá tẹ fẹ́ ká máa tẹ̀lé oníbàjẹ́ fún ìyá mi Grace ẹ jẹ́ ń gbọ́ lọ kí dúbè díẹ̀ sí kára mi ń bọ̀. Redemption from my own people. Now that you got what you wanted, you don't even know my name. Àì mọ orúkọ tèmi bẹ́ẹ̀ tẹ̀ mọ́ ti Lucky Dube. Mo kí dáadáa màmá mi dáadáa ìyá lálùbáríkà ìyàwó Grace Senior JP. Just the way it is lèmi máa sọ ẹjẹ́ apariwo ẹ̀ síta cocaine pusher ni àwọn ìlú wo àwọn ìlú kan náà wà tó ti ń gbé cocaine yẹn wá láti Netherlands àti Spain Belgium àwọn criminal iṣẹ́ kan táwọn ń ṣe nìyẹn bí cocaine ṣe máa wọ UK àwọn tí Nàìjíríà náà fẹ́ gbé wọlé wọ́n fẹ́ gbé káàkiri ojoojúmọ́ ní EFCC mú wọn àwọn drug baron Ìgbò wà nù wọn, Yorùbá wà nù wọn, wọ́n fi gbé lọ Thailand, wá gbé sí kódà mo rí bàbá wa John Ogundele ṣẹ́rí wà bàbá white garment àwọn tó ń ba Yorùbá jẹ́ nìyẹn. Ìyẹn gbé cocaine yẹn ó gbé drug yẹn ó gbé sínú inú epo pupa. Nigeria man stop airport with palm oil full of drug. Ó fẹ́ gbé lọ Dubai, ó fẹ́ lọ tà àwọn olórí burúkú drug dealer behind cocaine hidden. Àìtí mọ̀ ẹni oríṣiríṣi ojoojúmọ́ náà ni ó. Ó dà pọ̀ yẹn lélẹ̀. Lagos Church General Overseer conceal eléyìí dẹ àwọn tó ń ba iṣẹ́ Ọlọ́run jẹ́ lélẹ̀ because criminal ni wọ́n kọ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ ọmọ Ìgbò wà nù wọn ọmọ Yorùbá wà nù wọn ìkan náà ní gbogbo wọn they are criminals ẹ̀rí wọn criminal country yẹn lọ sí fẹ́ Yorùbá nation wọ́n mọ̀ pé àti criminal àti child prostitute àtẹni tó ń bọ́ ọmọ kékeré sùn gbogbo ilà máa ṣán sẹ́wọ̀n ẹ̀wọ̀n lẹ́ máa kú sí. Lagos Church General Overseer and others conceal illicit drugs in palm oil epo pupa. The agency said the illicit drugs were concealed in kegs of palm oil through the narco export shell of the Muritala Muhammed International Airport Ikeja, Lagos to Dubai. Tó bá wá tàtán wá padà wá sí Nàìjíríà wá di big people wá di eléyìí náà dẹ̀ ní kọ́ máa ṣe prayer lọ́dọ̀ àwọn bàbá burúkú yìí àwọn bàbá tó yẹ àwọn bàbá olóṣì wọ́n pọ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ àtàwọn ọmọ Ìgbò àtàwọn ọmọ Yorùbá kan náà ní gbogbo àwọn drug dealers ìyẹn láti gbọ́dọ̀ gba Yorùbá nation ká dì pẹ̀lú ra wa ká control. UK ò ní fẹ́ jẹ́ kí drug wọ bíbà wọ́n ò dẹ̀ fẹ́ kí terrorism wọ bíbà but kí ló dé táwọn fi gba Yorùbá nation because a lot of you are criminals. Ẹ gbọ́ has arrested the general overseer of a church in Lagos State. Baba Femi, the NDLA spokesman, made this known in a statement on Sunday. Mo tún fi story kan síta sórí wọ́n tó máa ń bú mi dá kankan mọ́ dẹ̀ sórí Lagos tẹ́ ń pariwo yẹn wọ́n pa máàní ní December last year títí di wákàtí àìtí ìmọ̀ ẹni tó pa. I think we lost the transmission on the Starr radio but it's back now. Konshele máàní yìí his name is Olayomi Koikii ẹrántí ẹ ti gbàgbé èmi a máa rán yín létí ẹ mọ̀ pé àwọn tí fámìlì wọn kúrò nígbàgbé èèyàn kò ń ṣe fámìlì tèmi but as a media mo kàn rí lórí information tó jáde ní àárọ̀ ẹ̀ lèmi náà bá lọ wo ta ló pa Mudashiru wọ́n ní hit and run bí wọ́n ti ní engagement pẹ̀lú àwọn ọmọ Sanwó-Olú àdọmọ kí ló ń pè àbí Tinubu we don't know the crime ti pọ̀ jù ní Nàìjíríà. Ta ló pa Mudashiru Olaolu just as ta ló pa Funsho Williams. Ta ló pa Funsho Williams ẹ̀yin tẹ́ pa Funsho Williams ní nísìnyí ni mo sọ sẹ́ẹ̀ ní nísìnyí nítorí pé bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe ń pa wọ́n yẹn ẹ̀yin wá fẹ́ jẹ́ kẹ́ nísìnyí lè nísìnyí kò possible because ẹni tó bá commit crime òun náà ní nísìnyí. Mo like bicycle yẹn bàbá mi John Ogundele mo kí gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí. Ta ló pa alàgbà yìí? Ta ló pa òun ní ìbéèrè tí mò ń béèrè láàárọ̀ ṣe ń sọ ẹni tó jẹ́ fún ẹ. Since December 11 last year in Lagos State Olayomi Koikii bàbá ẹ̀ náà ti ṣe nígbà àwọn ayé military big boy but eventually wọ́n ní mọ́tò gba hit and run títí di wákàtí maize gold mo rí ẹ̀ ń bẹ̀jáde mo kí gbogbo ẹ̀yin tèmi tẹ̀tí wọlé ẹ̀yin ti true KOKImedia fans tèmi náà bá ṣe ẹ sọ fún mi ibi tí bá kù sí ẹ sọ fún mi but lórí ti Yorùbá nation yìí màá bá yín fa in tó tán lẹ̀ torí tó bá jókòó sórí Facebook mi máa fún rẹ ní àtàtà because torí Facebook page mi is not for everybody tó bá comment nonsense síbẹ̀ tí bá pàdé máa ṣàìsí blocking ni torí àfẹ́ we don't want stupid people there. We want people that can reason and think. We want a society that's going to work for everybody, not a useless, Mr. Dari, not a useless country where people get killed and nobody can find up to date. Imagine bí máa yìí ṣe jẹ́ èèyàn gbòógì ní Nàìjíríà. Mudashiru Olaoluwa was the deputy managing director and the co-founder of Vitiva Capital Management an investment and asset management firm hit and run accident in December last year. It was said to have been hit while cycling. And it was not hit in Ojú Ẹlẹ́gba. It was not hit in Mushin Olóòṣà, not Oshodi. It was actually hit in Bodilon Road in the Ikoyi area of Lagos State. Are we going to know who killed him? Remember, this was your precious Lagos State. Imagine this man got killed like that until date. Nobody knows his whereabouts. Booking King Merado. You think Pelo Starr Radio today? I'm not kilo shele láàárọ̀ yìí. There was a break in transmission. Yeah, there was a break in transmission. Let's see. Okay, they're back. My name is Olayomi Koikii of Koikimedia. Okay, if you are joining me for the first time, because I know that there are a lot of people that is following the page, don't come and follow the page and break down and tell me, Koiki, please stop talking about our leaders like I will ṣépè fún àtàwọn leaders yìí. Àwọn leaders tó kó ẹ sí problem ọdẹ. Àwọn leaders tó kó wọn sí problem ló ní kébì má ṣépè fún. Ó jẹ́ kí n bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣépè fún wọn because they are criminals. Àwọn ọlọ́pọ̀ gbogbo yín débi tẹ wà báyìí nísìn. The reason why a lot of you are not doing very well in Nigeria is because of all the mess. So tó bá wá sórí page mi, Fẹ́mi Koiki, stop talking like that. You know, don't talk to Tinubu like that. Ìwà àti Tinubu máa ṣépè fún gbogbo yín. Tinubu is a drug dealer, okay? So don't come and tell me not to talk to. Àwọn Afẹ́nifẹ́re, àwọn bàbá méjèèjì, wọ́n bára wọn jà. Can you imagine? You know, they are fighting each other. And that is meant to be, you know, I pity Yoruba people. DSS confirmed plot to install interim government by misguided politician. Okay now. Interesting time ahead. Àwa wà níbí báyìí. Mo sọ fún yín pé election lè work ẹ̀yin ọmọ Yorùbá. You went ahead and vote. And àwọn kan ní Koiki, but you said that there's not going to be election in Yorùbá. Ṣé kí n kó bọ̀n jáde kí n máa fi bọ́n máa pa wọ́n yàn? Ṣé irú Yorùbá nation tí mo fẹ́ ṣe nìyẹn? Èbí mi mo ti educate títí for 3 years. And listen. Àwọn tó fẹ́ listen. Wọ́n gbọ́ lọ vote. Because your vote now is not counting. Your vote is not counting. Kí ló tún ṣẹlẹ̀ kẹ̀? Wọ́n ní Yuli Odochi lost 16-year-old son. That base Elédùmarè o. Ọlọ́run mà ní jẹ́ ká sunkún ọmọ. Nollywood actor Yuli Odochi reportedly lost his first son, Kabuchukwu Edochie, on Thursday morning. The son died 2 months after Edochie celebrated his 16th birthday with his wife, Mary Odochie. Yuli had on January 1st celebrated his son's birthday by the Ọlọ́run níjà sunkún ọmọ kábíyèsí Elédùmarè o. Rẹ́rẹ́ ń ṣẹlẹ̀ nílùú yẹn o. Really, I'm sure some of you know him. Wọ́n náà mú ẹ kú. Ọlọ́run má jà sunkún ọmọ o kábíyèsí Elédùmarè. What a very tragic loss. Oríṣiríṣi ló ṣẹlẹ̀. Mẹ́wàá ń ṣẹlẹ̀ ní Nàìjíríà. Ẹni bá kàn ló mọ̀ níṣẹ́. Ẹni bá kàn ló mọ̀. What a tragic loss. Okuku yé Elédùmarè. Because we don't know, you know, we don't mọ̀ tó ṣẹlẹ̀ gangan. But all I can say is kọ́lọ́n kó foríjì. Because ìwọ̀nba la lè sọ̀rọ̀ mọ́. Because we don't, you know, inú ara ẹnìkan ni kò mọ̀. Mo tó lùkálùkù ń tọwọ́ bọ̀ káàkiri o. But kọ́lọ́n foríjì ọmọ yẹn. Kó dẹ̀ bá wa dúró ti àwọn mọ̀lẹ́bí ẹ̀. A popular comedian. Bẹ́ẹ̀ni ìjọba Lande mo kúkú mọ̀ rí. Mo mention ẹ̀ lórí Starr Radio lánàá náà lórí Naija Voices. It's been missing. Ìjọba Lande wọn ló ti miss láti on the 26th ni wọ́n ti ń wá tọ́ ọmọbi tó wà. Nǹkan ṣẹlẹ̀ Nàìjíríà yẹn. Wàláì ẹni bá kàn ló mọ̀ ni. 2 minutes ló kù tí máa fi wọnú Starr Radio. Ẹni bá kàn ló mọ̀. Ọlọ́mọ ẹ̀ kí burúkú kàn wá kó má pọn ẹni tá mọ̀. So as we say, ẹ jẹ́ close all this. So Tinubu à ń padà bọ̀ lórí ọ̀rẹ́ later. Tí bá parí Starr Radio mo ní pẹ́ púpọ̀ but the rest assure pé a máa padà wá létà ní ìrọ̀lẹ́ gbogbo yín àwa ṣe proper program tá a máa ń ṣe so mo ní pẹ́ tí bá ti ṣe Star Radio tán because èmi náà ní kémi náà ní responsibility so but Yorùbá Nation mo sọ fún yín 24/7 ni iṣẹ́ kan tí mo gbà nìyẹn so kọ́lọ́n kó bá foríjì Ọláolúwa Múdàṣírù náà láti ìgbà tó ti kú títí di wákàtí àìtí mọ ẹni tó pa ṣé irú ìlú tá a máa fẹ́ gbé nìyẹn irú ìlú wo nìyẹn tí hit and run ṣé kò jẹ́ kí kámẹ́rà wà ní bodilon but irọ́ àní Nàìjíríà crime scene níṣẹ́ ẹni bá kàn ló mọ̀ so mo fẹ́ sáré once again mo kí gbogbo wa o Oòduà gbè wá kò ní gbé ọ̀dàlẹ̀ tó bá jẹ́mi náà ní ọ̀dàlẹ̀ inú bẹ̀ kò gbọ́dọ̀ gbè mí rárá so tí bá ti ní Oòduà gbè wá kò ní gbé ọ̀dàlẹ̀ bó bá jẹ́mi náà ní ọ̀dàlẹ̀ kò gbọ́dọ̀ gbè mí bó tí bá ti ń ṣọ̀dàlẹ̀ ọkàn mi balẹ̀ gbogbo allegation castigation tẹ́ ń sọ yẹn ẹ kàn fi fífọwọ́ aago sẹ́yìn ni but àwọn Nigerians á jáde ìyà ò tí ì jẹ yín dáadáa tíyà tó bá mú yín nígbà àyà ẹ jáde Buhari regime begs Northern Ireland for assistance on internal security wèrè búbu ó ń bẹ àwọn Ireland fún Interior Minister Arẹ́gbẹ́ṣọlá has sought Ireland cooperation on internal security all lies ẹ jẹ́ kí n lọ change outfit ní 11 tí lò lẹ́ẹ̀kan sẹ́yẹ́ ká gbogbo lórí Lucky Dube yẹn tẹ́ ẹ̀ bá ti bá nínú broadcast wọ́n yọ nìyẹn èmi kan mo ní náà mo tẹ̀ ní ẹ jẹ́ kí n lọ straight sórí Star Radio àní láti tún gba Lucky Dube kankan bó ẹ má bínú bó ní Star Radio wà where are we now ọtí ń dúró dé mi so ẹ yẹ ká wọ náà Star Radio náà let's switch to Star Radio. I don't know what's going on this morning. It's more missing. Okay, that's it.
All that stuff that is going on, more going to be coming away from there. Here's what coming away from Nobel's winning journalist Dimitri Muratov says Russia propaganda is preparing people to think nuclear war
isn't a bad thing. Now, what is the way forward? And, the Pontiff 86 will stay in hospital for a few days, but does not have COVID. The Vatican is saying, is it going to be out for the Palm Sunday? I'm not very sure about that, but whatever it is, more going to be coming your way from Star Radio. Okay, so wherever you are, stay tuned, don't touch it down. We're going to have Mr. Olayomi Koikii coming in, and I hope that Yomi is listening to me and he will put his speaker up this time round. Yesterday he put his speaker down to bring the Niger voices, and I think this morning he's going to put it up so that wherever you are, you can hear me loud and clear. But wherever you are, enjoy this song from the Driver Way Incorporated. It says, Wahini, your kingdom come. Enjoy.
Voy
Lovely tune this morning for you wherever you might be. Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London, bringing the time down to 4 minutes past the top of the hour. Mr. Frank Davis in the house. He'll be joining us in a moment. But for now, I've got a white lion also who is already in his corner to make sure in our North London studios to bring you everything that you need to know pertaining to what is happening in Nigeria. But do me a massive favor, share the broadcast with your friends and loved ones and invite them to like our pages as well. So now let me cross over to our North London studios where we have Mr. Olayomi Koikii, the white lion himself, ready to fire on all cylinders. And let me say, yummy, massive, good morning to you.
Well, a very good morning to you, Mr. Archie. Good morning, Frank. Good morning and good afternoon to all our listeners, depending on where you're listening from. And welcome once again to Starr Radio UK, the 30th of March, 2023 at 5 minutes past 11. And I say good morning, okay, to you, Mr. Archie.
Yes, morning. How are you doing, sir?
Well, a little bit, worked up, after, I think I've been sleeping. My sleeping pattern has been kind of changing. I'm not too sure why. Maybe because we are always excited to know what is happening. So, when you think you are sleeping, you might probably think that. And I think I got, it's not just myself. I was listening to a podcast of Elon Musk. And he was asking, what does he do when he wakes up in the morning? He says, I grab my phone to see if there's any kind of a break-in. So, and I think, especially because there's a lot happening around us, and around the world. So for some of us that are, in this industry, we just want to be sure that, everything is working, around the world. But sometimes we know that everything is not working as we might want it. I was listening to you, regarding, Pope. We give him kudos with his age, and we hope, he can get back on his feet. You look at so many other areas as well. But apart from that, we're back again, and I'm doing very well.
We thank God. Listen, it's Mr. Olayomi Koikii in our North London studios. Archie here with Mr. Frank Davis. Frank will be joining us in a moment. But let's move on to, what was discussed yesterday. We were talking about the Amnesty report pertaining to Nigeria, and that was the main discussion on the Niger Voices. For those of you who don't know, Niger Voices comes your way every Wednesday, 18 hours British time. Okay, when I say British time, so whether it's GMT or whether it's summer time, it is British time. All right then, and it just gives you detailed stories or insight into the current issues happening in Nigeria. Yesterday it took place as well. There's been an Amnesty report that was a bit bad for the country. But Yomi, what was said on the program?
Amnesty International gave us a kind of a breakdown to some of what we have been discussing, for some time. But the only difference is, it gives, the background to the report on Nigeria rather than the report, from different part of the globe. A couple of things that, and this happens on Niger Voices. If you've missed that episode, you can watch it again on the replay on the social media of the Starr Radio UK, whether on the Facebook, the YouTube, or Twitter, or through our, website as well, which is, www.starradiouk.com, and you can find, all the details of the program. The program comes up every, 6 p.m., which is some kind of a, to get those that are in Nigeria, because the 24 hours clock sometimes, could mess up people that are not used to such. So it is 6 p.m. local time in Nigeria. We're running the same time now. Yesterday, the report gave the humanitarian and violation of international law, whether through the federal, whether through the military, whether through the the government in the state level. So almost all the states in Nigeria, including the FCT, had a kind of a report that can have impact on the human right violation of individuals or people, even up to the Boko Haram. They still have their right under the international law. And it seems that, the federal government and the military have not respected that right. I mean, even if we might say, the terrorist organization are not something that we should, allow a right, but again, as long as Nigeria is still a sovereign nation and is still part of the United Nations and different laws around the world, they still have to abide by those international laws. So let me give you a quick, critics of summary of some of those reports quickly. It won't take a lot of time. Violation of international human rights law. They failed in its responsibility to protect people from various abuses committed by the Boko Haram and the ISWAP, as well as unknown gunmen. According to media reports, at least 6,997 people were killed in 2022, and at about 6,157 people were adopted. And as I speak to you right now, 56 people have been adopted again in Niger State. We're going to talk about that. Also, there's about 2,000, internal people that have been transferred. The Boko Haram are still operating in Nigeria, and likewise the ISWAP. So let's move swiftly to the 10,000 pregnancies, without the consent of individuals involved. There was a report by Reuters that the Nigerian military had conducted a secret forced abortion program in the Northeast in 2013, and that ended 13,000 pregnancy without the consent or prior knowledge of the women and girls concerned, which could amount to war crimes and crime against humanity. Let's talk about the freedom of expression and association and assembly. On the 13th of January, the government actually lifted a 7-month ban on Twitter after, President Muhammadu Buhari posted something to remind the Biafra that, I hope you remember that what we did to you, during the civil war, between the government and the Biafra then. And Twitter thought, this cannot be allowed. That tweet was removed. And, the federal government of Buhari thinks is still in the military era, decided to ban Twitter. And that went for 7 months. Remember that there's a lot of Nigerians that are making use of Twitter, for small little businesses and transactions, especially those that have, followers, whether they are skit, comedy, or whatever. But 7 months, Nigerians suffer the freedom of expression and association. Let's take you back to Zamfara State on the 16th of October. The government actually shut down 5 media outlets for broadcasting an opposition party campaign. Imagine that conservative says, we will shut down Starr Radio for supporting the Labour Party. That is exactly what happened in Nigeria. Let's quickly talk about the activists and protesters. The government continued to clamp down on protesters. On the 5th of April, Mubarak Bala, the president of the Humanist Association of Nigeria, was actually sentenced to 24 years imprisonment for a post on Facebook alleged insulted Prophet Muhammad. El Rufai, the governor of Kaduna State, banned religious protests in the state. On the 27th, let's go to Akwa Ibom State. Mbene Effiong was prisoned without trial for 1 month. Let's talk about our own. Omoyele Sowore, prisoner of conscience, and Olawale continue to face Trump-up charges. Let's talk about journalists. On the 21st of March last year, journalist Agba Jalingo had spent 179 days in the custody in Calabar. Daddy Yati is still missing since 2019 as well. 5 people from the People's Gazette were arrested in Abuja following alleged defamatory report on the publish of the Chief of Army Staff. Let's move straightly to different arrests. Do you know that in Ibadan, or your state, southwest Nigeria, 40 protesters were kept there after 2 years of the EndSARS? And it goes on and on. Gloria Okoli was kept in detention, believing that she's a spy working for the IPOB, known as the People's, the Indigenous people of Biafra, for 150 days. They also talked about the young girl that was killed by the Lagos state government, during the Yoruba nation protest in Lagos state as well. Enforced disappearance, excessive and unnecessary use of force, extrajudicial execution. Nigerian security force had killed at least nothing less than 122 people in response to the increased violence and killings of their officer in the southeast. Forced eviction. Indigenous people homes were destroyed in Abuja, left about almost thousands of people, homeless. Right to life and security, and it goes on and on. And the question also is the children's right. More than 1,776 school children had been adopted, and guess what? 20 million Nigerian children are out of school as we speak today. Starr Radio UK That is part of what we discussed yesterday. If you've missed it, you might want to go back and watch it. It is quite elaborative.
Yes, and I can tell you that if you were on the platform and looking at the comments and everything that people were putting across, you know that, well, given the chance, the African is capable of managing his own affairs. But you know what? The chances are around pertaining from our own, we ourselves trying to calm down ourselves. And somebody will say that, is that kind of democracy that we are practicing? But well, you ask them, they say, well, it's all the rule of law. You want to know more? Stay tuned every Wednesday for the Niger Voices. Okay, now let's move on to some of the other stories making the rounds this morning. Starr Radio UK, the Thursday edition of the morning show, 14 minutes past 11. Now, arrest interim government protest. Now, I know that Buhari had actually formed an interim government, or that they will see to the transitional government, transitional. But what is this about this DSS? And because we have the Labour Party leader also, bashing the DSS pertaining to this interim government thing that they are talking about. So what is this all about?
Well, if you remember that we have been talking about, the likely that there's not going to be an election, because, there's a lot. And I can go back to my note of February 1st when we actually made a full, program on that. Mm-hmm. And it seems exactly what we said, on the 1st of February is actually coming through gradually, by the federal government of Nigeria. I mean, the DSS probably is aware of this, or maybe it's just come to their own intel. But I talked about interim government on the 1st of February. I mean, and the question is, what has made the DSS wait up till now to alert Nigerians about that? If I could know about this as far back as the 1st of February, and that's about almost 24 days before the election, and it was actually under my number 4, I still believe that there's still going to be a coup in Nigeria. We talked about the insecurity as well. So yesterday, the DSS has now confirmed plot by some individual, no name has been mentioned yet, to install interim government and want misguided politicians. The Nigerian Secret Police says planners want to sponsor endless violent mass protests in the major city to warrant a declaration of state of emergency. The Department of the State Service said the plot is to set aside the 1999 Constitution and install an interim government by misguided political actor. No name has been given yet, but that is a statement that is coming from Peter Afunaya yesterday, and also promised that the secret police will use all its arsenal as it is at its disposal to frustrate such plot. Is it about frustrating such plot, or letting Nigerians to know those that are behind this plot, so that Nigerians can be aware? Remember that we still have the APC government in power. So who are those that wants to install this interim government? Is it part of the APC government, or is it the PDP, or is it the Labour Party? Definitely, for you that wants to install this interim government, you must also be part of the government in the first place, because if there's going to be a state of emergency declared in Nigeria today, then somebody within the caucus of the military cabal is aware of that. I have been talking about the military having meetings with so many traditional rulers across the country. But like I said, it seems the DSS is now acting on what we have talked about as far as 1st of February when we talked about interim government.
Now, interestingly, I'm asking myself the question, is it after the horse has bolted, that's why now that the DSS say, oh, you know what, this is something. But I remember back in the day before the election when some people were accusing Atiku of meeting some of the military chiefs, and they were saying that he was planning to, they were plotting to maybe have a coup d'etat, overthrow the government. Now, we've not heard anything of the sort. Now, we know that Atiku, that is the PDP, and the Labour Party are not happy with the election, the way it was all conducted and everything. And they are, we saw a few demonstrations that took place earlier on. We have the NLC that is also plotting to also go, yesterday would have been when they were calling for a mass, nationwide sit at home or strike.
Protest.
Yeah, protest. Now, all those things didn't happen. Is the government just trying to use this sort of an intimidation method to stop people from coming out to, actually say what is happening to them? Because if people are looking at insecurity, looking at the scarcity of the naira, which we know that as of now, still people have not gotten it, and people doing their transactions and they are not getting it through. Is it a plot by the government by using the DSS to clamp down on such people who want to, air their voices or make their voices heard?
Well, the reaction, on the social media has been mixed match, and like you said, we know that immediately after the election, the PDP, embarked on protest. Peter Obi has not actually embarked on any sort of protest, but most of what he's saying is, they have to go to the court. My question, is that if the situation that the DSS is aware of this protest that is going to lead to chaos, then that has literally now justified the Yoruba people that they are not part of these, because remember that the Inspector General of Police actually pinpoint the Yoruba movement as those that is going to destabilize the country. So, but they've not come out to say that is not happening anymore. But from the information that the DSS has released yesterday, it is now definitely that there are some internal cabal within the internal cabal. Remember that the Naira redesign was also a plot to destabilize the system. As we speak right now, that has not yet been resolved. But we will have to wait and see. But in as much as the DSS says, they've been able to hatch this plot. So definitely, maybe we are not going to see that happening, or maybe we still have to wait and see if on the 29th of May, there will be a transition of power from the same political party, but to the new president-elect. But as of today, he's still nowhere to be found, even though yesterday was his birthday. But there are a lot of different rumors out there. Some say it's France, some say it's in London, some say he's gone to Lesser Hajj in Saudi Arabia. But what we can say is, even Showore was asking, where is the president-elect, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, as of this morning?
Well, he might be resting in his nice apartment or house in London or wherever, is it? Listeners, Starr Radio UK. But does that mean that the DSS is not going to allow any protests at all? Is that what they're trying to do now?
Well, the Constitution does not give, the DSS, the power to stop any protests. Under the 1999 Constitution, people have the right to, peaceful gathering. But I think what they're more concerned is, if this protest is not going to lead to chaos, and that chaos would force the government to declare a state of emergency. And if we have a state of emergency declared, definitely there's not going to be a transition of power, in May, which is 2 months from now.
Now let's look
so
at
how they're going to balance that is what we don't know.
We don't know.
I don't know how they're going to balance that, by saying, we shouldn't go out for the protest for those that wants to do so. Remember that the TUC and the NLC has given again the government 2 weeks, from yesterday.
Yeah.
So we have to wait and see. But
we don't know. But I was asking, looking at the APC itself, do you think that all of the sects in there are happy with the outcome of the election? The fact that they have Tinubu who's won. A few of their senators have lost their seats and stuff like that. But are they happy so that we know that the APC is together and they want Tinubu to lead them, or?
Well, the APC is divided. There's no doubt about that. The APC is fully divided, but they're trying to manage that division, as we speak right now. And we saw that played out, very well during the election, especially the presidential election, because a lot of them, believe that the president is being misguided on some of the steps he has taken, especially when it comes to the redesign of the Naira. But the headline I've just picked up right now, just to to buttress that, Ngige have just come out to say kidnappers are on break. I don't know whether he's still in Nigeria because in Niger State 56 people have been kidnapped. He says the kidnappers are on break. Terrorists on holiday. Ngige allowed the Naira redesign. I mean, these are, the Minister of Labor and Employment that should be dealing with, some of the reason why people want to go out on protest, spoke on one of the mainstream media yesterday. The Minister of the Labor and Employment, Chris Ngige, says the Naira redesign policy of the Central Bank of Nigeria achieved some benefit as it curbs insecurity, vote buying during the 2023 election. The minister, admitted that implementation of the policy was not smooth, but the Ngige said the policy is not smooth in its implementation. I admit that, but whether it is good policy, yes, it is a good policy because, terrorists have gone on holiday, but probably maybe as at the time you were speaking, but I can confirm 56 people have been kidnapped by the terrorists in Niger State.
Some of these politicians, they speak as if they live in another planet. They don't know what is actually going on there. But it is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Now let's come to one other story from here. Buhari's regime are begging Ireland for assistance in internal security. I mean, we talk about insecurity in that part of the world, and then they are now calling for Republic of Ireland to come to their aid. I remember back in the day when Buhari came to power, I think they tried to buy some helicopters and some from the US. Now, we don't know when that came in, whether that has helped, because from that time, things have been worse off. And with this Labour, Minister for Labour Affairs or whatever, also saying that, kidnappers and all those terrorists are gone on holidays because they cannot get their new... It's all crazy. But, Yomi, why have they gone now, Buhari now going to leave office, gone to Northern Ireland or getting some help from Northern Ireland, Republic of Ireland?
The Interior Minister Raufo Aregbesola, that has sought Ireland cooperation on the internal security. Under Raufo Aregbesola, we've seen multiple prison break, even though the report from the Amnesty says innocent Nigerians during the protests of the NSAS were kept in the prison for 2 years, but also they did mention that 68 Boko Haram terrorists were let loose during the break jail in Kuba in Abuja. But and you ask yourself, the minister in a statement, the ministry spokesman Afonjajibola yesterday made the request when the Irish ambassador to Nigeria, Peter Ryan, actually paid a courtesy visit in Abuja. Mr. Aregbesola said that because of the ministry desire to strengthen internal security, he felt the need to establish the National Institute for Domestic Security in the Council. All this institute, all these project doesn't seem to be working because under this minister, we've seen more jailbreak than we've ever seen in the history of Nigeria.
Well, maybe he thinks that Northern Republic of, I don't know why I'm saying Northern Ireland, because Northern Ireland is part of the UK. So now Republic of Ireland, maybe I've got them in. I've never heard any jailbreaks in Republic of Ireland. So I don't know what he really wants to do on that part. But well, listen, let's start Radio UK. Now 26 minutes past the top of the hour. And let's come to Ohanze praising Afenifere for revealing true position of February 25 presidential election. What has been said? What has the Afenifere said about the presidential election?
Well, there is a divided, social cultural group, we have to say, because one has actually endorsed Bola Tinubu, while the other have endorsed, Peter Obi, and I've been reading about them in the last 24 hours. Let's first go into, the headline that we have. Two different headlines coming from the Afenifere this morning. The first one that you talked about is the Ohanze praises Afenifere for revealing true position of the February 25th presidential election. The Apex Igbo Social Cultural Organization, Ohanze Indigbo Worldwide, has allowed the Pan-Yoruba Social Cultural Organization, Afenifere, for telling the world the true position regarding the election on the 25th. Ohanze said it was not mindful of the Afenifere role in restoring democracy to Nigeria through the platform of the National Democratic Coalition, NADECO. Ohanze said Afenifere leaders with alliance across the national divide and international bodies launched the National Democratic Coalition during, after the election of the late Chief MK Abiola, and that led Nigeria into a lot of crisis. But coming back to the other headline here as well, Afenifere recognized Tinubu as president-elect, not Peter Obi. Former Pan-Yoruba group leader Fashion Roti tackles the successor Payo Adebanjo. Fashion Roti, the immediate former Afenifere leader, added that the organization only recognized Tinubu of the All Progressive winner as the last election. The chieftains of the Pan-Yoruba Social Cultural Organization, Reuben Fashionroti, has actually deassociated himself from the position taken by some of the members over the emergency of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Fashionroti, the immediate former Afenifere leader, added that the organization only recognized Tinubu. So you can see that it's a divided social political organization, from one supporting Tinubu and the other thinking that it's a fair system to allow the Igbo to become the next president. But that hasn't happened, and Tinubu is still the president-elect according to INEC.
Well, we know, as far as we are concerned, we know that there is a petition hearing, court hearing, that is going to be taking place, and we hope that whether justice will prevail is another thing, but some way, somehow, we'll hear something that will appease all sides. But again, when it comes to the law, evidence is the game. Do they have the evidence to back whatever they are going to say? Well, Anthony Adedeji, good morning to you once again. I hope you are doing very, very well. It is Starr Radio, okay? It is, my apologies, this is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Let's go back to Yomi for the rest of the stories. Over to you, sir.
Once again, 30 minutes past 11. A very sad news for one of the actor, a Nollywood actor, has now reportedly lost his first son, Kambichukwu Edochie. Edochie loses his 16-year-old son, according to the report. The son died 2 months after he was celebrating his 16th birthday with the wife, Mary Edochie. Yul had on January 4th celebrated his son's birthday by his verified Instagram handle, saying, "A very happy 16th birthday to my first son. May God lead and protect you always." But it seems that something has gone wrong. Meanwhile, confirming the news of his death, a family spokesman was quoted as saying that Kabichukwu died today. After his exam in the school, he joined his mate to play football. He developed a seizure and was rushed to the mother and child hospital, but all effort to bring him back proved abortive. May so rest in peace, we say from Starr Radio UK. Let's go straight to some of the other headlines quickly, and then we go straight into what is trending on the social media this morning. The Christland school principal orders arraigned for manslaughter. Again, negligence of the school when they went out to, inter-asphalt and the stadium that they were using somewhere in Lagos State in Agege. One of the students eventually got, electrocuted. And she died before, anything could be said. But it seems now that the Lagos State government have now arranged Christland School, Okpebi, its principal, vice principal, and 2 employees over the death of one of the school pupils, 12 years old Whitney Adeniran. The school workers who were arraigned before Justice Oyedamola Ogala of the Lagos State High Court in Ikeja, Ademoye Adewale Kuku Fatai, Mrs. Belandi Amor and Natwuta Ugochi Victoria and Christland School Limited. The defendants were arraigned for 2-count charges bordering on the involuntary manslaughter, reckless and negligent act. Here in the UK, if you're taking the children out of the school premises, I remember that each time we drop our children to school here, when the school door is not open, they are not allowed to get in. And the reason for that is because of their own safety and because of the insurance as well. So, but from the moment that you hand over your children to the school, then the school has the responsibility. And that's why some schools do not even allow children, and especially when your children are having a birthday, to bring in food from outside, because they're not sure what this food could contain. And most of the time, you'll have to do that from the school premises, so that in case anything happens, the school is not held responsible for that. But the question is not just about the school. We should also be talking about the local government area, allowing the vicinity to be used and not up to the standard. And these are so many reasons, that a lot of us keep asking the question, is this country still working with the amount of, intelligent people that we have? When we talk about negligence, these happen continuously. So may the soul of the young girl, Whitney Adeniran, continue to rest in peace, and we hope justice will definitely come through for the family, so that they can have, a peace across as well. Kano APC candidate congratulate NMPP Governor-elect Yusuf And like I said earlier, 56 people kidnapped from Niger State as well. 34 minutes past 11. We take one more. President-elect Tinubu is resting in France, according to Masari. So those that are close to Tinubu are still saying that Tinubu is resting in Paris presently. Despite several indications that Mr. Tinubu might not be in good health, the political kingmaker turned president-elect has maintained that he's physically and mentally fit to govern. But Governor Aminu Masari says President-elect Tinubu needs more prayers from Nigerians to enable his incoming regime to succeed. We're going to go straight to the social media. Once again, remember to follow us on the Star Radio UK on Twitter. As the Katrina Lang continued to go and finish up his farewell bid into different part of Nigeria, is currently back. She's currently back in Lagos State, and according to her on her Twitter feed this morning, delighted to have visited the spectacular John Randall Center. Great to see how the center plays a crucial role in preserving the rich Yoruba cultural heritage. I'm sure those that are asking for the right to self-determination will be saying, okay, so if you know that we have this cultural heritage, why then do we still have to remain in Nigeria? But again, that is Katrina Lang there as she continues. While we still, by next month, the new one will be taking over as well. There's a lot of trend from the Labour Party and the PDP, and likewise, Simon Ekpa seems to be trending, and the reason for that is, Simon Ekpa says that the Biafra will have to, not the Biafra, but because of so much of the burning of the market in Lagos State, that he believes that the governor and those around are involved in the burning of the Igbo market. He's now asked for a sit-at-home in Lagos State, and that is generating quite a lot of uncomfortability with some individuals to say that he might not have the right to do so, but we would have to wait and see if those in Lagos State will listen to Simon Ekpa, even though most of them might probably not be following the Biafra movement. So that is probably the reason why Simon Ekpa is trending as at this morning as well. Rest in peace is trending. The US dollar is trending. We know that that keeps fluctuating in and out. Ngige is trending. I'm sure we know why, because Ngige believes that the terrorist has gone on holiday because of the new Naira real design. So we're gonna now go and look at Nigeria as a whole and see what people are saying on the social media before I come back again to you in the studio. Once again, this is still Star Radio UK. It is the finest African and Caribbean radio station in London at exactly 36 minutes past when we look at Nigeria trending as we speak right now. So Steve Ank wrote, Steve Ank is an economist that writes a lot, with different countries around the world. He actually wrote this #Nigeria Watch. Nigeria will remain entrapped in poverty, inflation, and violence for as long as its government is standing. 8 years of the nap time was not enough for President Muhammadu Buhari. He led a flawed election in which his man, Bola Tinubu, became the heir to his throne of corruption. So, that is, Steve Ank there. And then let's look at more as well. Dele Ogun, Bojo spills the beans on who Nigeria works for. I believe that is actually referring to Bojo as Boris Johnson. Remember that Boris Johnson was in Nigeria. Maybe we should just listen for about almost 40 seconds what actually Boris Johnson said during his engagement in Nigeria. That is what Dele Ogun is actually referring to. So let's listen to Boris Johnson.
Of introducing Mr. Boris Johnson, the Right Honourable Boris Johnson. Thank you. Well, thank you very, very much indeed. It's wonderful to be at Your Highnesses. Very, very much. Wonderful. Very kind of you to invite me. Listening to the speech has already been so terrific. I don't know about you, I feel rehumanized already. Thank you. And it's so good to be back in Nigeria after an enforced absence. I had to be Prime Minister for a long time during COVID. I couldn't get here because this is such a wonderful country for us. Okay.
So that is exactly what it means from that tweet there by Dele Ogun. That Nigeria is a very wonderful country for the UK, and I'm sure a lot of people knows that as well. Also, I think you want me to come back.
No, you finish. And then we.
And the last one, is also Yusuf Dati actually also made a statement yesterday, and he actually went on to say there is no president-elect of Nigeria right now because the declared one violated the constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. He actually also went to talk about the Senate president. That the Senate president is actually, I'm trying to get the right word he used. If we can get that, I'll come back again to you in the studio. We see if we can get that before we go, because that is something to listen to as well. Nigeria after the election is just a very interesting one, and we continue to monitor that as well. This is still Starr Radio UK, the finest African and Caribbean radio station in London.
Well, listeners, Mr. Olayomi Koikii in our North London studios. I'm Archie here with Mr. Frank Davis in the South studios. Now, Yomi, is Boris in Nigeria? When did he visit Nigeria?
Well, he actually went to Nigeria a few days ago. I'm not sure whether he has returned back, but he was in Nigeria to attend a particular event. And as we all know, Boris, coming out of the vehicle, has to keep talking in and all. The same Boris that we know here. He hasn't changed. But I think, what they wanted us to hear from that is just that the relationship between the UK and, Nigeria is still very good and very strong.
Yeah, but he didn't make any comment pertaining to the elections at all, did he?
Well, he did make some, but like I said, I think what they wanted us to hear from that was just that little bit. But he did make a lot of reference to the election as well. But as we all know, Boris Johnson, has always been, the same Boris we know as a mayor of London, becoming the prime minister. The COVID having a lot of party while we were locked down, and he actually said that he couldn't get to Nigeria due to the COVID as at that time, but he was able to have a party at the back of number 10 Downing Street Garden.
That is the safe zone. Well, now Fani Kayode pertaining to, Fani Kayode in the past was alluding that there was going to be a coup d'etat. Now he's saying that he's been vindicated by the DSS.
Well, you're right. When Fani Kayode, a very, very controversial man himself, he actually, even as a few days ago, was saying a lot regarding the Deputy British High Commissioner to keep his mouth away from the Nigerian politics. With so much interference. But you're quite right. He's saying that he believes now that whatever he said then, the DSS has now confirmed it. And just like I said as well, 1st of February, I actually said that there is going to be an interim government. And it seems that the DSS is catching up, or maybe they're aware, they're just probably slowing down. Once again, this is Starr Radio UK, your finest African and Caribbean radio station, and I'll come back again to you in the studio, Mr. Archie.
Yes, listeners, Mr. Olayomi Koikii, updates from Nigeria. Now, a quick one other from here then. Is Atiko and Atiko doing everything possible to merge with the Labour Party? Because it looks like Atiko is urging the PDP members to deepen engagement with the Labour Party, because had they been together, automatically, you looking at the numbers, they would have won the election hands down. Is that what they are looking at?
Well, it seems that Atiko's ambition is not starting today. Atiku has been trying to become the president of Nigeria as far back as 1993. So he's been around for a very long time, but maybe the dream is not over, or maybe not yet. But he couldn't get that worked out with Peter Obi, and they have to share the two numbers, and it seems those numbers is still something that they have to take to the court. I was actually reading a tweet yesterday that they were finding it very difficult, the Labour Party, to get the petition to Tinubu team, but eventually they've done so now. So there might be the court case starting anytime soon, because they have 21 days from when the petition letter has been dropped to the APC Secretariat in Abuja. So 21 days will probably be by the middle of April, and then we will know what next. So if they don't respond, maybe it's going to be good luck to Peter Obi, but I'm sure they're going to respond, because they already got all the signs ready to defend the president-elect Bola Tinubu election win.
Okay, we'll see about that. Now, interestingly, a Ghanaian musician, I think you will know him. He's known as Shatta Wale. He said his striking resemblance, his striking resemblance to with Nigeria's president-elect Tinubu. He said he thinks that he is the father, so he should come and take him from Ghana.
Well, I mean, it's always been a controversial one rather between some of our artists in Nigeria. He believes that he's much more better than them, but we'll have to wait and see. But you're right, he's somebody I've listened to some of his music as well.
Okay, well, so according to Shatta, some people have also asserted that he looks like Tinubu. Hence, he pleaded with Tinubu to come for his child in Ghana. Well, that's an interesting one. Yomi, before you go.
Well, we'll be back again tomorrow, Friday, for the final part of the week program of the edition of the Niger News Update on Starr Radio UK. Remember to follow us on all the social media and I'll be back again tomorrow, God's willing. But for now, I leave you in the good hands of Archie and Fran to take you through the rest of the segment. Have a very good afternoon or good morning, and bye for now.
Okay, bye-bye. Now I'm going to bring you a tune from the one and only Jeanette, and it says Orile-demi. That's my only Yoruba language that I understand, and it means that my nation. Okay, so enjoy that, and we'll be with you. Stay tuned, don't you go away. But again, for those of you listening to us, those who normally watch us on our YouTube channel, God willing, tomorrow morning, I'm sure the Starr Radio channel, will be up and running. So look out for it. All right, then. Thank you very much. But at the moment, we are transmitting on the YouTube on Starr Radio UK. So you type in Starr Radio UK, you can get us live on the YouTube as well. Stay tuned. But subscribe to it so that anytime we are on, whichever channel we are using, you will not miss out on it. Enjoy this tune from Jeanette. It says Orile-demi.
Toe down.
This is Starr Radio. This is Starr Radio UK.
And that is Starr Radio UK. Àti gbogbo yín tí ẹ bá wa darapọ̀ mọ́ ní àárọ̀ yìí. And I say thank you once again to those of you that have managed to join us there. Thank you so much, my big brother there, Prince Eze Izima Iyinacho. We're going to be ending the program right now. I'll be back later in the evening for more news and updates. And as we might come back and talk about the DSS, talking about interim government. This is all part of the plan. Don't buy into what the DSS is saying. Everything is being cooked in Nigeria. So if you believe them, you are probably lost as well. So if anybody believes what the DSS is saying, you are probably lost. So my name is Olayomi Koikii. Thank you so much, Abiodun Lexi, and the rest of those of you that have joined me this morning. I gotta go now because I have other things to catch up with. Kendi Adigun, thank you so much, Prince Izima Yinacho. Try and see if we can get you into the program one of these days as well. And on that note, Pastor Mo, Idris, and the rest of you that have listened and joined us on all the platforms. My name is Olayomi Koikii, and I remain Koikimedia, bringing the world closer to your doorsteps. Places that you can get to, things that you don't know. We will talk about it on this platform. Have a very great afternoon. Akim Ayodele, let's keep the engagement going on our air. You know where we can all meet on the comment section. But remember, Koikimedia is not your Amala joint section. I told you, 1st of February, and even before that there's going to be interim government. A lot of you probably don't believe us. But now that the DSS have said so, maybe you will believe us. There's still a lot that they are wrapping. Some, we don't have to tell you now. Some, I will tell you. But I will always talk in parables. Code. It is entirely up to you to decode it. When the right time comes, we will decode it. But for now, there will be a lot of messages in code. I'm asking again before I go, is he dead? That's all I want to know. Those I'm talking to, they know the message. Is he dead? If he's not dead, let us know. And if he's dead, let us know. Life is not going to end. That's all I've asked. I've not given a name and I've not pinned it to anybody. It's just a question. Let me play my own Egbon, my own CSI, my own brother that I love so much. And then when I come back, I'm just going to close the broadcast.
Yorùbá nation yìí ti gbogbo wa ni kó má gbọ́dọ̀ bàjẹ́ torí kò sílùú mìíràn.
Life is so funny. You come with nothing, then fight for everything, and later leave everything and go back with empty hand. God is powerful.
Very powerful. Bye for now. Kingsley, all hail Biafra. Bye for now, everybody. Bye for now.